What is the first thing that rings to your mind when I say rural fund? Agriculture? Consumption? Well, it's not just that. ICICI Prudential Rural Opportunities Fund intends to participate in both rural development plus consumption. But more on that in a bit. To give you a gist, rural India contributes to 46% of India's GDP. More than 60% of our population resides in rural areas, and 60% of them are still dependent on agriculture for employment. In the last decade, we have not seen a material shift from farm to non-farm jobs like construction and manufacturing, which means that the dependence on agriculture for livelihood is still high. But we have certainly seen more female participation in the labor force. The Indian government has spent an amount of money on improving the standard of living in rural areas by giving free food, employment, affordable housing, subsidized electricity, cooking gas, sanitation, tap water, skill development, and road connectivity. The contribution of rural economy to the GDP in the last decade was low because agri-inflation was range-bound. And considering that farm incomes were low and there was no material shift to non-farm jobs, overall rural wage growth was far lower than urban salary inflation. As a result, rural index sectors have underperformed. But we believe that the worst is behind for 4 primary reasons. Number 1, farm indicators are improving, which means that the outlook for farm incomes is improving. Second, focus of government on manufacturing and skill development should result in more non-farm jobs. 3, we have seen government support household incomes in recent times through Ladli Behna Yojana, and that could continue. 4, the climate change could result in a cyclical uptick in global agri-commodities, which augurs well for farm incomes. Hence, we believe that this is a good time to invest in rural index sectors. Now, which are these sectors? So on the development side, we have infra-related sectors like cement, power, manufacturing, capital goods. On financial inclusion side, we have banks, NBFC, insurance, and farm-related sectors like agrochem, fertilizers, agri-processing, water supply management, and so on. On the consumption side, we have FMCG, telecom, durables, two-wheelers, cars. ICICI Prudential Rural Opportunities Fund can invest in both development and consumption-facing rural sectors. Some of them have a structural component to it. Some others have underperformed in the recent past, and we intend to capitalize on both of them. The benchmark for this fund is Nifty Rural Index, which is very broad, making this a very diversified theme. It has 11 sectors and 75 stocks. So to conclude, we think that incremental indicators for rural economy look better. There are near-term as well as structural measures by the government to improve household incomes. This benefits certain structural themes like farm mechanization, financial inclusion, connectivity, and energy consumption. As a result, certain underperforming sectors should also start to do well. ICICI Prudential Rural Opportunities Fund thereby offers you a diversified exposure across market caps. We look forward to your participation in the NFO. Thank you.
Mutual fund investments are subject to market risks. Read all scheme-related documents carefully.